Hello.
Tom, how are you?
Hi. I'm good.
Oh my God,
I'm trying to
that is
set
a
up my phone.
that's okay. I was just doing that 20 seconds ago.
Well, let me see if this works. My phone keeps sliding and I'm trying to jimmy this thing
Trying to
to work.
stabilize it.
Trying to
Okay,
stabilize it a little bit. There you go. This might work.
there we go. All right, there we go. That is a breathtaking view back there, man.
Um, I know, right? It's a valley. I'm pretty fortunate right now. I think I got to sit up a little bit so I don't look like I'm sinking. Yeah, no, I have a cabin a couple hours outside of San Diego, and my grandfather actually built this place for a famous architect, and my family has a long history of coming up to this little town. And one day my uncle, and my grandfather's not alive anymore, one day, and my dad's not alive, but his brother, my uncle, called me. He said, "Hey, do you want to see a house that your grandfather built for Ken Kellogg?" Ken Kellogg's this really
Oh,
dope modernist architect that worked under Frank Lloyd Wright, that is just super famous for a bunch of cool reasons, organic
yeah,
architecture. And I was like, wait, he built a house for Ken? Like, in the prime of my career, I tried to buy like 3 different Ken Kellogg houses. And I never kind of was able to pull it off. And so here's one up here, and I just went through like a divorce, so I didn't own a house or anything. I was like,
yeah.
I need to come up here and heal with the kids and be able to have something connected to my family. And I don't know. So here I am. So it's working out good during this pandemic because I can come up here every once in a while.
Yeah, the next time you are in Wisconsin in the future, so many Frank Lloyd Wright houses around here. I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
he was based in here, and there's some for sale that pop up once in a while, and when they do, it's big news. And then usually by the time you even see the news, the house is sold already. I
Oh,
mean, it's
has
still
to be. Yeah. That guy is like kind of a magician. He's like the Steve Jobs of cool architecture,
of
you know?
architecture. Yeah, things hanging from the ceiling and stuff like that. Yeah, speaking of being back here in Wisconsin, it's been 6 months since Angel and Airways played our big snow show, which normally I'd say 6 months feels like a long time, but man, this last 6 months has obviously felt longer than anything.
Yeah. It seems like the past 2 months have felt like 3 years, it's like going on
Yeah.
every day is just crazy. But I don't know. What a weird world we live in right now. Weird times, but we're pushing along. We're going to be back out to see you soon. We
Good.
shall bring the sun.
That's what we need the most, man. What have you been doing the last couple of weeks? Keep yourself occupied.
I've been writing music. I've been dealing. We put out this song with Angel for the charity for raising money. We're feeding America. So working on that song, and um, it actually is doing a lot better than we expected. We thought we'd put out something to raise money, and it's cool, but people are having a really awesome reaction with it. So it's kept me really busy. A lot press most every day.
Yeah.
And then dealing with other things. I mean, obviously, I got stuff going on with my company. Everyone's working remotely, but we got a lot of science. We built a big artificial intelligence system that tracks UAP and does a lot of other things, potentially even related to the pandemic. So we've been really going deep on that and having calls about that and how some of these technologies that we have can help with the pandemic. So we're going to be doing more announcements in the next couple of weeks with that for To the Stars Academy. I've also been like dealing with the kids during the pandemic is crazy, like any other family where you got the
Yeah.
homeschool going, you got kids of different ages, trying to get them out to the ocean to surf. You can't sit on the beach, but you can be in the water doing something or exercising. So
Yeah.
trying to get them out to do that, get them out of the house a little bit. So I don't know, lots of things. Dealing with some film stuff, it's development is still happening, working and crafting the TV series and movies and all that stuff is all happening. So it's lots going on.
Well, it was exactly a year ago. I talked to Luis Elizondo, Lou, from Unidentified Inside American UFO Investigation from Nat Geo. I'm sorry, History Channel, and we had a great talk. And he had nothing, obviously, but glowing things to say about you. And I could talk to that dude for days, man. He has some
Yeah, me
interesting
too.
stories.
Yeah,
He has. Some,
I
he's a guy
every
that
once
could
in a while.
easily. Yeah, he's a guy
Oh,
who
go
could
ahead.
easily be like very. I don't know, boastful, and isn't. He's a very humble guy, but he knows a lot.
Oh, I can't say why but when you deal with like the most secret stuff in the government, this
Yeah.
guy was like where he was placed and what he had access to. I don't want to go any deeper than that, but yeah. And he's also fun because, you know, every once in a while, like I have enough knowledge of this stuff to know more than I'm supposed to. And every once in a while I'll say something just to test the waters. And, you know, the eyebrows that go up on him, or like, do not say another word, we're not going there. You know, I always feel like I've won. It's like this game. I'm like, can I say something where Lou looks at me with stern eyes, you know, but yeah, he's like, but he also, you know, Lou came up as a special forces operative, like a soldier. You know, he fought
Yeah.
the Taliban in Afghanistan like a month after 9/11 with a Secretary of Defense Mattis, General Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis.
Yeah.
Mattis saved his life. Lou got pinned down in a huge machine gun fight, and he called for air support, and they said there's nothing in the area. And he said, I looked at my friend, and I said, we are going to die. We're dead. There's like 100 of them shooting, and they're pinned behind a rock. Then he heard something on the radio, and Mattis comes flying in on like one of those Bradley vehicles, saying, and big door flies down. He's, oh, get in, boys. He's in a t-shirt. He's, oh, I'm busy. I'll get to you in a second. He's on the automatic grenade launcher, just wiping people out. You know,
Jesus.
and Lou said he's on the ground just looking up at this guy in the sunset kind of thing. Like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, and he saved his life, you know? So Lou came from like really being in war to moving up to a place where he had a lot of responsibility with a lot of very sensitive things. And so he's not boastful. He's seen too much death. Lou was the guy you go to, like when you see like the Taliban beheaded some pregnant woman, like the worst thing you could think of. He is the guy in the Pentagon they would go to. You need to watch this video and figure out what the fuck to do about it. And so he's the one that had to put it in on the screen with his team and watch the whole thing and kind of go, what's our plan? I mean, so you're always going, yeah, they deal with bad shit in the government. You know, I would hate to be those guys. He was the guy. Yeah. So he after he goes, he's all, you can't unsee the things that I've seen. And I get it. I totally understand. I mean, he's got his head on very straight for a guy that's been through that kind of stuff.
Well, that's why 2 weeks ago, this footage that came out and you and Lou's name was attached to it, that was the stuff that people saw on History Channel last year if they were watching it. I think it was the same piece of the video, was it not?
Yeah, it's the same video. So basically, I brought the videos out to the Stars Academy. They're on the New York Times. New York Times validated it. Then we spent the next year briefing the senators and the congressmen, connecting a bunch of dots to places in the government where there should have been connections already, but there wasn't. So we did all that. And at that point, the pressure was so strong that it forced the Navy to come out and say, UFOs are real, and these are real UFOs. Don't ask any more questions. Well, now we are a year later, and we've been working on influencing national security policy of how to deal with these things and how the data and the information and so on should go up to the right authoritative positions and elected officials, because it's not right now. And while doing that, it did another thing that forced the Department of Defense to come out and publish the videos and actually formally put them out there for civilians to have and reference and use and say, yeah, this is real. So it's moving higher and higher. We started from the USS Nimitz to the head of the Navy to the head of the Department of Defense, and now it's going to keep going. And To the Stars knew, you know, we know what we need to do and how to do it, and it's a long-term play. It's we created a mechanism that's going to pry out something that they've known for 70 years that's highly, highly classified and sensitive for a lot of good reasons too, you know, so we're not trying to ruin or mess up things that have national security implications. No one wants to do that, because these are actually good men and women, smart men and women that are dealing with things that you and I don't want to deal with. And, you know, so it's a long-term play, and it's creating ways for this to come out in a healthy way to where it can change the world and do what it needs to do, but, you know, step by step. And I, you know, hey, I hope people, you know, come along with us step by step as well, because I know a lot of people, it's hard for them to digest this. They don't want to believe it yet. All right, well, you know, if the DoD tells you it's real and you won't believe it, like, I don't know what to say, you know.
Like you said, the process is long. Again, the show on History Channel that came out last year, Unidentified, Inside America's UFO Investigation, shows just how many steps you have to go through. And I mean, I'm sure you get this all the not threats, direct threats, but probably direct threats of people telling you not to release it, even if you have it. And it's got to be really tough for you guys as a group.
Yeah, whenever you're dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with, which is extremely advanced technology and information surrounding like the origins of that technology or what it can do or how to build it or who the intelligence may or may not be. I mean, when you're dealing with all that stuff, Russia and China and all the other major countries know about this. They've been dealing with this stuff. They've had crashes too. And so, you know, even when we were doing a private meeting in New York, we had two Russian spies show up to our meeting of 15 people. And then I had all my partners, which two of spy, one's counter intel and the other one is one of the head spies of CIA. You know, I'm in there in a suit and I'm watching like these spy games go down in this room. That I'm like, where have I ended up? You know, this is insane. I just play guitar, and so we had to send, you know, an armed guard back there guarding this material that we had on display, and the whole thing was like normal for my partners, super weird for me. Fascinating, like just fascinating. Like it's very real. Like it's you know, they're in our country, we're in their countries. They're always sniffing around, but this is like the prime possession is whoever holds the keys.
Did they give you a heads up going to that meeting what it would be like and who was going to be there, or was it a little more?
No, they didn't know. They didn't know.
Okay.
My partners did not know these guys were going to show up. We don't know. We didn't even know how they got the access. So,
Wow.
you know, and it's not the first time. I mean, we deal with, you know, we have a lot of eyes on our company. We know this through our friends. I can't say how, but we just know this. Like Russia and China specifically spend a lot of time trying to collect as much info as they can from my partners and my company and what we're doing, because we are so connected to the offices that matter the most, to those types of places when it comes to technology.
Just putting, kind of looking in the background behind you and being by San Diego, night by night, what do you see in the sky behind you? Because you do have the Marine base so close in San Diego. Do you see things? I mean, there's going to be flyovers and practice. No, are they out of your range?
Well, we see military aircraft every single day. I mean, you'll see every day, you'll probably see 10 to 20 military helicopters going up and down the ocean, because Camp Pendleton and Coronado, they pinch San Diego. So there's major military in San Diego. And then you'll see giant destroyers and carriers off the coast all the time. You'll see special operations stuff here and there. There's a lot, but they train on the islands right outside. You can't totally see that, but every once in a while you'll see live fire exercises or something they're doing with flares or something. But you'll see things at Camp Pendleton over the hills. So one time I saw these really bright glowing objects, and I was so convinced that those might have been genuine UFOs. I even got my car and I went up 45 minutes to get a closer look. They turned out to be flares, which flares are wild looking because they grow to a big ball of light and they hover. Then they dim out and then kind of go on again. And so it looks like they're morphing and changing and moving locations. So they have an uncanny resemblance to like what a UFO sign looks like. But I'm aware of what they look like too. So like but I did see a genuine UFO event not too many weeks ago. I put it on my Instagram, right about a couple miles off of the beach where I live. It's at the bottom of my hill. You know, these things stacked vertically, a little red dot comes out and then it goes down horizontally. Then they disappeared and popped up over here and then disappeared for a while, then came back again and did a lot of the same stuff. And it was wild. So I called up Lou, and he was telling me, does it have this? Does it have this? What are your geographic locations? Look around for this, look around for this. Then he was on with the Pentagon looking to see who was running exercises in the area and flight tracking, weather, all that kind of stuff. And nothing was in the air. There's one plane, he said, it should be a plane at your 9 o'clock. Okay, got it. You know, it's like, but other than that, it was right when the pandemic started. So all the military was shut down. And my brother's the deputy training officer for all the special forces in San Diego in the Navy. So he would know. And he's like, there's nothing out there right now. So we, you know, that's something I saw in the sky out there, but that took me, you know, a long time to see it, you know.
That's nothing. Just like I said, it's in your backyard, and that's what I was thinking. It's right behind you. It's just so fascinating. Again, To the Stars Academy is really fascinating from the onset. Like right when you guys started that, it was kind of a mysterious as to what it was to most people. You know, fans of your music are just like, hey, I'll check it out. I'm into it, and then you find out really what it is. It's not your normal organization. I guess you guys do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think the best way to think about it, what it is and what we do is like, imagine if like Jurassic Park and maybe Ex Machina and like all these different types of like sci-fi movies were at one place. And then they said, rather than just make science fiction, why don't we actually do the science and make those actually do that, actually clone a dinosaur, actually make a robot. It'd be like, that's like the analogy is like not just make a movie about, robots and dinosaurs, like do the actual science fiction in a lab as well. So it gives us the ability to, with the science division, collect the data, analyze the data, and then extrapolate from there into a technology arm and into a communications arm. And the communications arm is the entertainment film franchise, informed science fiction. So it's like, rather than just dreaming up stories, let's dream up the stories and actually turn them into reality.
And push them somewhere. Yeah, push them in a direct place. Would you say that it's almost a think tank a little bit for Angels and Airwaves music? I mean, you're
in a way, because Angels and Airwaves is a part of To the Stars Academy. It's me, so that band has always worked. I mean, you buy our merchandise on the tothestars.media website. And buy our albums and and we put out the books and the movies and all that stuff there. It all meant to work together, because the big dream has always been, even when I started the band like 13 years ago, it's always like, how do you come in and experience these things before you go in to see the show, where the media and all that stuff comes to life? So the idea now is basically that. Can you walk into a concourse and have an experience with the science and with the science fiction worlds we're building and the engineering and all the technology and what it all means, and then go into the show, and the movies and animations and all that stuff are incorporated into the show, and it's all one giant kind of celebration of who we are and where we're going. And that's that's been my goal now for over a decade.
Is speaking of Angels and Airwaves, is All That's Left Is Love, is that going to be part of something bigger? Again, make sure people download, get the single, buy the single. The money goes to Feeding America. What else are you working on with the band right now? Anything?
Yeah. So we've been recording for a year. We're just about done with the record. Because of the pandemic, there's not a rush right now, so I'm probably going to write another 2 or 3 songs. But the record is literally in its last 15-20% of being finished. So when that comes out in fall, we'll start launching the songs, singles, and all that kind of stuff. We will launch the tours, and we'll get back on the road and hopefully have some extra things that go with the record that are really exciting and ambitious. And so I'm staying busy.
Good. Well, and that being said, I'm glad I talked to you when I did, because earlier this week, the guys from Blink were talking about you guys maybe hooking up again. I don't know if it's just for a full project or just a song or something. Has that been happening, or just talk?
Well, we're not like doing some big reunion right now. I talked to Mark and Travis, not all the time, but enough, and we try and stay in touch as much as possible. And there's been talk about doing stuff. Yeah, it's just a matter of timing, what really works for them and what works for me. I don't want to try to pretend that they're supposed to work around my schedule or whatever. They got a great thing going, and I don't want to mess it up or get in the way of that. Celebrating kind of the band in its original form, I think we're all have a desire for that. It just has to make sense. So I always tell the fans, it'll happen. Just give it time to where it all falls in line with each other organically. And right now it's hard because I've got so much focus on the film projects, and Angels and Airwaves, probably its best record it's ever put out. So I'm like, I'm really passionate about those things. And Blink is a major part of my DNA. It's like, I want to do it, but it's just going to take a minute for it all to line up.
The live show, your live shows with Angels and Airwaves are always just so much fun to get that blast of sound in your face. It was last December when you guys were here. It always has been from the first album. You Don't Need to Whisper It, to me, is just one of the best first albums from a band that just comes at you so aggressively and with so much fun. It always has been. So like when you said 13 years, I kind of forget that it's been 13 years, man. It's weird.
Well, thank you for the nice compliment. That's means a lot to me. And I know it's like, where did the time go? It's crazy. It's, you know, but I'm a late bloomer as an artist. So I've hit my stride.
That album came out the first year I started the morning show here at FM1021. So you guys are always like a flagpole for me as far as distance goes and time. I always, because I remember driving into my first couple of weeks at work, listening to that CD, and it was just kind of funny where I was like, man, got to get these guys on. This is cool. That was my thought. That was 13 years ago. And yeah, I myself, you're right, late bloomer here. It's good.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm glad you're doing well, man. Are you getting some rest?
I am. Yeah. Everyone's going slow. I've been exercising a lot, honestly, which is
what have you been doing?
Well, I bought an electric bike. So me and my fiance just go up and down the coast and ride for like 2 hours at a time. And it's actually because I got sick of walking every day. It's like, man, this is kind of boring. We're doing walking the same. So with a bike, I was like, oh shit, now we can like go for like 15, 20 miles, you know, and going up and down the beach, it's cool, you know. So that's kind of been something I've been doing a lot, you know.
Those things are magic, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm not wearing spandex and like Mountain Dew tight shirt. I don't do that yet.
Yeah, wait. Fingers crossed. I hope.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I appreciate the time so much, Tom. It's always good to catch up with you. And I know, like I said, it's been 6 months, but it felt like it's been 6 years since you were last here. And look forward to we can all get back together again in the future and hang out and hear you guys play.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for being here, man. Take care. Later.